Parshat Vayishlach opens by telling us of Yaakov's discovery that his brother Esav was coming for him with an army, Varbamot Ishimo, of 400 soldiers. Yaakov's response is to be afraid, and he instantly divides his family, Lishtei Machanot, into two camps. He prays to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and sends his brother expensive gifts. Why is it that Yaakov's reaction to the approach of Esav was so very different than his reaction in last week's Parsha to the approach and the conflict with his father-in-law Lavan? There, in Vayetze, Yaakov was confident, and he spoke forcefully against his father-in-law, making sure that his father-in-law knew where he stood. Whereas in this week's Parashah, Yaakov speaks with almost self-depreciating submission, referring to himself as Avdecha, as Esav's servant. Why was he so confident last week and so depreciating this week? Rav Shamshon Raphael Hirsch, in a brief but insightful comment on this parsha, attributes the different responses of Yaakov to the different circumstances that he faced. As he wrote, and how different is Yaakov's attitude to Esav than what it was to Lavan. We can recognize what strength the consciousness of innocence gives, and what an oppressive feeling even an appearance of guilt awakens. 20 years endurance of a fight against wrong which you have innocently have had to bear do not have such a depressing effect as 1 minute's feelings towards somebody who we know feels hurt by us, who may not see the motive, which, though it may not justify our action, can at least excuse it. According to Rav Hirsch, Yaakov's forceful words against Lavan were based on an unquestionable moral high ground. Yaakov and Lavan knew that Yaakov was the victim, that he was right, and so Yaakov could speak strongly. However, when it came to Lavan, Yaakov knows full well that he bears Rav Hirsch's words at least an appearance of guilt, even assuming that his theft of Esav's bracha was justified. Nevertheless, there's still a legitimate basis for Esav's feelings, his resentment against Yaakov. And Yaakov, as a result, could not feel the same confidence in his conflict with Esav as he did with Lavan, because he bore an element of responsibility for the strained relationship with his brother. This uneasiness, in Rav Hirsch's words, yielded a depressing effect that undermined Yaakov's conviction and resulted in that fear and the apprehension resulted in his need to approach his brother not only by taking a defensive pose of splitting his camps, but also referring to himself as a servant and even offering the bribes of gifts to try to appease his brother, who he knows felt wronged.